Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, whilst we are located in Australia, maybe we clear something up in terms of our accents. I am German and have a slight Irish twang to myself, and Stephen is Scottish. So it's very interesting to hear accents from the other side of the world. So we're very excited to hear from you and be presenting today.
Yes, but we are Australians, though, Christiane. We are now. So it's a Scottish Australian, German Australian type thing that we're bringing here.
Indeed.
So let me share my screen so that we can get things going. And first off, before we go, it'd be great if we could have people put in the chat where they're from. Well, not actually where they're from, as in like Scotland, but where they're connecting to today. So what kind of city or state or where country. So we see we've got a couple from the States, a couple more Australians, which is great. So it's the early morning here for us. Well, mid-morning, so 11 in the morning here.
Yeah, a few Melbourneites, a few Sydney people, someone from Cleveland, Auburn, New York. So very international.
I still find it, slightly surreal that we're able to do such things as, present to a group in New York, from my shed at the bottom of the garden in Melbourne, and this is what we're going to be talking about today. This sort of the challenge, the benefits and opportunities that are now here with this different way of working, and as Mindy was saying before, how we believe that this is here to stay and grow and change as well.
Indeed, and I was just talking to my gardener who I said, I'm doing a presentation to an audience in the States, and then I'll talk to you later. And that was very, very funny, sort of this disconnect between, here's my garden and then there's this other world out there. In terms of this talk, we research trends and emerging best practices and what others, are saying and doing in with regards to hybrid working and where it's happening. It's an ever evolving field. So what we tell you today may not be true tomorrow. So that's really the disclaimer here, that this is something that's rapidly changing and rapidly evolving, as it should.
Absolutely, and look, that's one of the elements that we're going to cover. So kind of a very brief high-level agenda of what we're going to be going through over this next hour is kind of dive into it initially, what is hybrid working, and then a bit further onto the complexity of hybrid. And this is the Expert Agile Club, so we're going to talk a little bit about what does it mean for Agile in particular. And then, as Christiane was saying, the future trends. And one of the things with the future trends is that they're coming a lot quicker than anyone thinks. And there's some really interesting things on the horizon that's potentially going to impact even more how we work from a hybrid point of view. And then there'll be a bit of a Q&A and wrap up at the end. Probably a bit of logistics though is that as we're going through, feel free to put questions into the chat, and we'll be monitoring the chat as we go as well. So don't think that this is just going to be one way of us presenting. We're definitely wanting some interaction. We've got some polls that we're going to be putting out as well. So very keen for people to get involved and ask us questions and make this as much of a dialogue as possible.
Yes, indeed.
So what is hybrid working, Christiane?
Yes, what do we mean by hybrid? It took me a while to get my head around that, because it's really a workforce that is blended. So we've got people who work remotely and those who work from an office or, as it says here, central location. And that is really the definition, and that's the model specifically we want to talk about today. There's other remote working models, which is fully remote and or a different way of blending it, but hybrid specifically is this blend between I am in the office part of the time and I am also working remotely part of the time. And that's a particular challenge because it requires real structured thinking about how do you manage an organization and people who are geographically dispersed, and sometimes they are together.